let's see. First of all, I'm here because I met you through Diablo Valley College, where I have been working with the Contra Costa College District for 25 years this year.
Okay.
Which was unexpected. I did not anticipate it to happen like this.
Very long time.
You never know what's going to happen in life.
Oh, you still have it. You still have
how
it.
Much I still can't get your first name.
Yeah, that Nkosinati.
Let's see. Let's hear it.
Nkosinati.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's tough. But you're like Mali, like just boom. Even the time when we did that the other class, and then you went and I was like, wait, she still remembers it? I was like, that was awesome.
Those names,
yeah.
And occasionally.
But over and above your experience with international students and the way that you help, the cultural exchange in your classes, I know for a fact, like there's always going to be that exchange. I mean, if one person, I can recommend if somebody takes your class, like it's, when you're done, you're going to be, I still talk to Ken, the photographer guy who I was with from the other club. Welcome to the Global Voices Unplugged. This is your all international student podcast show. This is where we talk all things international student. We talk student lifestyle, student academics, student enjoyment, student experience, and everything else that comes with being a student and everything else that also comes with living in a foreign country, living far from home. And joining me in studio today, I am so excited because I have one of my personal favorite teachers in studio today. Help me welcome Miss Donna Smith. Ma'am, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that introduction. I'm honored to be here, really.
I am honored to have you here on the show. I mean, it's been an experience. Yeah, I'm really happy to have you here today. And so before we go anywhere, I would like you to just, tell us a little bit more about yourself, just for our viewers, so they can get to know who's Miss Donna Smith, like, what have you achieved over the years? I know you've done so much. You have so much experience, so much exposure in almost everything that, So if you can just share a little bit of it.
Okay, be happy to do that. Well, let's see. First of all, I'm here because I met you through Diablo Valley College, where I have been working with the Contra Costa College District for 25 years this year.
Okay.
Which was unexpected. I did not anticipate it to happen like this.
Very long time.
You never know what's going to happen in life. But prior to that, I grew up in Contra Costa County.
Mm-hmm.
I've lived most of my life in this county, in Pittsburgh, California, which is my hometown, not far from here, where I still live. And originally, graduating from Pittsburgh High School, I wanted to be a veterinarian.
Okay.
I think I may have told you this.
Yeah.
But at the time, Davis had the university for studying veterinary science, and I had a very long waiting list. So in the meantime, waiting to get into that program, I went to San Francisco State. And I took classes in biology, and I finished a Bachelor of Science.
Mm-hmm.
In biology, and incidentally and accidentally, I did a Bachelor of Arts in English.
Okay.
But it set me into the world of writing and reading. So I ended up going into working in medical research for a little while, but I really didn't like it. So veterinary science was not going to be
It was not your thing. Yeah, it wasn't going to work out.
But I had this other degree, which was accidental. And so I pursued that. As time went on, I became an editor for an organization called the Commonwealth Club of California.
Okay.
And that's a political forum where they gather weekly, sometimes even daily events. Heads of state are there, and I did their publications and helped put on their events on a weekly basis.
On writing?
So I got exposed, and I got exposed to leaders from around the world.
Okay.
And had a chance to meet them, talk to them, interview them, and go ahead and do their stories weekly. So it was really quite an experience for me.
Nice.
It was a nonprofit organization, so it didn't pay very well.
Oh.
But I went on to do other things and worked in public relations, international public relations and advertising.
Yeah.
And then I did television syndication, which is putting programming into network.
Yes.
And then from there, I did different things, moved around, lived in Chicago for a while. And I had a chance to be, I think, the first female producer for ESPN.
ESPN
when
Sports?
they started sports.
Right.
So I did that, and I traveled, and I worked for BET, which is called Black Entertainment Television, which has changed hands a lot.
Yeah.
Companies merge and buy each other out.
Uh-huh.
So I have experience working in print media,
And-
little radio,
Yeah.
television, and even I taught courses at Cal State Hayward in script writing.
All right.
So I ended up working with the movie industry in a kind of a distant way. So
Oh, you have a really big career, like, you know, like,
I do.
It's
I have
really
a lot-
big.
I have a lot of contact in the media world, and I have some real strong opinions about it too. It's
So-
not always the easiest.
talking about all those careers and all those, the exposure that you got, which one do you think it was all worth it, or do you think you might have, like, pursued a specific career?
You know, I think we each have our own kind of journey in life.
Yeah.
And while I had in mind that I would do one thing, I thought I would be a veterinarian, I thought
Yes.
I would go in that direction, it didn't work out. I had to take a different path. And I'm glad I had a chance to explore different things. I met people from all around the world that way.
And that's amazing, right?
And it was wonderful. It was this wonderful journey, and still is for me.
Yeah.
As you know, we met at Diablo Valley College, and you took a course, a year and a half, I guess, for me. And if you remember, every single person in that room was from a different country.
Exactly, I remember. We had a guy from Brazil, and then we had a coach. We had Benny from
India.
We had India, and we also had the other one from Australia.
There's a girl from Mongolia.
Yeah, the Mongolian. There's so many.
It was so interesting,
Yeah.
and I've had a few courses like that through this long period of time.
All
I've
right.
done this from different, where everyone in the class was from a different country.
From a different country.
So, I had an opportunity to see the whole international world of what it's like. I've learned a lot.
So you've
from
seen it
the
all.
students.
You've
I
seen it
really
all.
have.
That's amazing.
Definitely.
So let's talk more about the media, like the way the media has changed over time, from when you started working in print media, and then you talk about ESPN. I mean, we all know how big ESPN is right now. How have you witnessed the change in everything in terms of media? Looking at it grow, and I mean, we're doing podcasting now. Podcasting wasn't there, right?
There's no such thing as podcasting, although podcasting is so much like other things as well. It just has a different name.
Yeah.
But what did I see? Well, when I think back, and it's funny, I was just thinking about it the other day. When I was working in print, I started working with a printer that actually still used type that they put
The typewriter?
into a board.
Okay.
And then it went to a layout for cut and paste.
All right.
So things were done, by hand to be able to set
Physical.
pages up physical. And now, of course, everything is digital. It's done very differently. And people have moved away from reading and want to have videos. They want to have images. They want to follow the voice of someone.
Yeah.
And they don't seem to have the patience for reading, which is too bad, because I think when we read, we
Yeah.
visualize things in our head in a much stronger way than what can be brought to us in a video.
So in a way, we develop our own imagination.
We do. We really can see more that way. So
Okay.
I find that to be kind of a disappointment, that people are not reading like they used to. And really the attention span has gone down.
Yeah, it's changing.
So low.
It's changing.
I mean, I'm watching you. You're looking at your screen. You've got your phone in front of you. You've got all your things flashing and gadgets going, and I'm worried about where my phone is. So even something like that,
Yeah.
where we're so connected.
Yeah, we're so connected to everything. Yeah.
Yeah, but how did I see it change? Well, I was working in an advertising agency
Yep.
when different people would come in and try to get us to put their ads through to the clients that we had. That's how ad agencies work.
Yes.
And I remember that we had this presentation by these two men who came in and talked about this sports network. It was going to be 24 hours a day, and sports from around the country, and everybody was going to be able to see it. And my boss turned to me when they left, and he said, "Who in the world would be interested in sports for 24 hours a day?"
You.
And I looked at him and I thought, he's a little out of touch. Well, those were ESPN. That was ESPN that came in. And
The two guys.
And that was my next job. I went from there to
You skipped, right?
Because I really saw that was something
You
that
saw the vision.
grow. And some people didn't see it, and that's still true today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing people that said, for example, Netflix.
Yeah.
Well, who's going to want to do that? It started so simply
Exactly.
with the two men that had an idea of sharing a DVD by mail, and that's how it started.
Mm-hmm.
And they just practiced seeing how it survived through the mail, and now look, Netflix is
Everybody's watching Netflix.
in a huge buyout right now.
Exactly.
I think they're buying Warner Brothers, so we're looking at a massive international company that came with two guys with a kind of unusual idea that everybody thought wasn't going to work.
So wait, so you're saying you saw ESPN when it was still starting, when it was still an idea before it actually, became ESPN?
For me?
Yeah, exactly,
No,
for you.
It was already set up and going. It was
Okay.
just that some people didn't see the value of it.
All right.
They didn't see the potential of where it could go.
How it could grow.
And I just went to them with some ideas that I had for programming, and
Mm-hmm.
they thought they were good, and I tried it out, and I did a number of different series for them.
All right.
That were kind of lifestyle programming that went with other sports, because there's lots of opportunity
Yes.
in the world of television still, and in fact how television is going into the internet. So
Okay.
everything's just flowing into the internet. It's like streams coming to a waterfall, and the waterfall dumping
Right,
into
so
a
this-
lake, and that lake is the internet.
Going to this big ocean, just
Right.
sucking up this big T-Rex,
Right.
taking
Yeah.
everything.
The T-Rex.
The T-Rex,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk more about your your exposure in academics, like the teaching that you've done. I know I am one of your most proud products. Like I am.
And I'm really proud of you.
I'm very proud to be, went through your hands and everything. So you speak about the exposure that you have with different international students in different spheres of academics. How have you, what have you gathered from, having different people from different places in one room, and then there's you, then there's different people, they're in a different country. Like, how has that been for you?
I've talked to other teachers about this, and I'll use a different example, but I'll get back to your international student thing.
Okay.
So I know that I've had some conversations with instructors that say they're not happy to have athletes in a room because they're hard to handle, and they have a lot of energy. They can be a little arrogant sometimes, a little aggressive, and they don't know what to do with it. And I always say, hey, no, give me the athletes. I'm real good with
Bring 'em
them.
here. Yeah.
Bring them in. I'm real happy with it. It's just, let's find our common ground and work together. And I just had a big group of athletes that finished very successfully, and I'm real proud
Nice,
of how
nice.
they're going on.
Yeah.
So the same is true with international students. I think a lot of instructors, not all, of course, but a lot of them can feel a little intimidated. They have trouble with an accent.
Exactly. That's a big one.
Yeah, they can have trouble with an accent. They can have trouble with pronouncing the names. They're not sure what they can do in a room. Well, I don't know. My own family was an immigrant family.
Okay.
And the basis of America is that all of the people in America, except for the small group of Native Americans, from my point of view, are from immigrant families.
All right.
Some came 100 years ago, some 50, some 3 months
5.
ago. Right?
Some 2 days ago.
Yeah, 2 days ago. But I mean, everybody's from someplace else. And I actually love the accents. I like to be able to learn basic words like hello and goodbye and thank you
Yes.
in different languages. I don't remember them. I always mix them up.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
You know, it becomes
always
something
fun.
that's fun and breaking down the barriers of somebody being different to somebody being just unique.
Yes.
And I really enjoy it. I enjoy learning how to pronounce their names. Maloleke.
Oh,
I remember
you still have it.
I
You still
remember
have
how
it.
much I still can't get your first name.
Yeah, that Nkosinati.
Let's see. Let's hear it.
Nkosinati.
You're like, yeah, that's tough.
That's tough. But you're like Malu, like just boom. Even the time when we did that the other class, and then you went and I was like, wait, she still remembers it? I was like, that was so awesome.
Those names,
Yeah.
And occasionally, I had a student from China not too long ago, and I said, could you say your name as you would pronounce it in your country? And she looked at me and she said,
Are you serious? Are you sure?
You can't pronounce it. She refused to tell me.
Really?
And I thought, I wonder what that was about. I couldn't quite understand it, but I mean, you shake that stuff off and you just move on and you say, fine, then what would you like me to call you? Oh, you want me to call you that? That's fine. That's what I'll do.
So in that student's defense, I think it's, okay, so here's what I've experienced with being an international student. I know that, you meet different people every day. And when you have to talk to people, the first thing they pick, I think we once spoke about this, is your accent. So they're always going to ask you,
Where are you from?
Where are you from? And you'd be like, oh.
Some people don't like that question at all.
I after we spoke about it, I ended up accepting it, but deep down, because it happens every day. It happens to you in an hour, it can happen to you like 20 times. People asking you.
I can see how it would be irritating.
They go, I like your accent. Where you from? So it's like the first thing that defines me when we start talking is how I sound. And that is, it gets annoying because it's happening every day, whether you're in school, more especially if you're not in school. If you're meeting people in school, maybe sometimes instructors, obviously, they'd be like, it's okay. But you meet just a common person, I like your accent. Where you from? So you'd be like, do you really like it? Or you just trying to, identify me and just remind me that this is not where I'm supposed to be. I don't know.
You know what? I have to say, I think that, traveling around the world, because I've been to a lot of countries, and, not being able to speak the language and then making so many mistakes with the languages that I try to do there. And, people asking me, where are you from? And I'm thinking, I really must stand out as being different.
Exactly.
No matter what I do or what the surrounding people are like.
You're always going to be different.
Always going to be different. And then I think, okay, but it's okay to me, asking about an accent here in the United States, people are intrigued by an accent.
Are they really?
It's not an offensive thing. It's more of an envious thing. They hear an accent and they go, oh, where are you from? Because
you sound
we don't
differently.
feel we have that here.
Okay.
American English can be very flat in sound, right?
Okay.
We have British English. Oh, it sounds so elegant.
In it, like
And American English can sound not quite as elegant sometimes.
All right.
So I mean, there's this thing about the language, but to me, it seems that the language probably isn't the biggest stumbling block for international students.
Okay.
As much as I think it is finding your way, finding the right path, how to get into the right classes as a student.
Yeah.
How to find where the offices are, who to talk to, how to approach them. It's not easy.
It's very
Every
difficult.
Department is very different.
Exactly.
And even our college has everything in place to try to make it easier for students. I've tried to work students through the process and I can't figure it out. And I'm there.
And you've been there for a long time.
Been there for a long time. And I go, I don't know where to tell you to go for this. It is confusing. And if you're unsure of the language, you're unsure of the culture, you feel you're not terribly accepted at that point, you start to give up.
Exactly.
And it's hard. I really want to say, especially to international students, talk to your instructors, have a conversation with them as a human being.
Yeah.
And really see what they can do to help you. Because even if I can't figure it out, somebody else can.
You know
so
someone
I can
else who's
pass
able.
them on to somebody who might know better than me.
Okay.
To try to help them, because we want them not to give up. We want them to keep going on. That's the whole goal.
Yeah, as tough as it is, we have to keep going.
I'm not doing this for another reason. I mean, I'm doing it because I want to see people succeed.
Of course.
Like you. Look at you.
I appreciate you so much. So, and then, we also want to touch on student alienation, like that feeling of being different in a country, the feeling of not belonging, the feeling of, loneliness, as we said, like
Yes.
with accents and everything. So, how have you seen it go through with your students? Like for the longest time that you've been a teacher, how have you seen that evolve around your students, and how have you helped to counter attack it?
One thing that I try to promote to students, even though it wasn't necessarily something that I heard as a student way back for me, is to join clubs. There's lots of clubs and organizations and things for people to do together.
Okay.
Because that alienation and depression, it leads to this very dark place in your head.
Of course.
You feel very alone. You feel like you can't succeed. You feel like you can't compete. You wonder why you're doing it. It's really hard. You're tired. You don't have the money. You can't find work. I mean, there's a million things going on.
Exactly.
But joining different clubs of people that are maybe similar to yourself, but also different from yourself, so that you can broaden your base of friendships in the country.
All right.
And for me, my happiest moments, I think, and my best, strongest moments as a student weren't what I learned in the classroom. I wish I can remember what they said, but a lot of those instructors blend together in my head now, and what I do remember is the people I met from different countries,
Okay.
and the friendships I had, the roommates I had, their experiences, their life, how we shared things together, shared our own experiences, shared our own food, shared our culture, shared our holidays. International students not only have that different language, they may come from a different culture.
Exactly. Yeah, of course.
Very different traditions, very different food, different religion. Everything that can make you different can be quite different for a group of
And very
individuals.
different.
Very different.
Yeah.
And there is that fear that, I am so different, I can't be friends with this person. But you don't know that, because we're human beings.
Yeah.
We have that common thread. And if we can do away with that feeling that we're wrong and just reach out, you can learn so much and have such a good relationship with people. And I think clubs kind of help that.
Okay.
And also not being afraid to talk to your instructors.
Yeah.
Not be afraid.
Just socialize, just, talk,
I mean, some of them
general.
are going to scare you. They scare me. But some of them will be really helpful to you.
Yeah, some of them will be really nice, right? Yeah,
Some
a
of
little
them
bit.
can be very nice and really, really helpful.
So what are some of the challenges that you've seen international students go through?
Challenges. Well, let's see. It seems like international students might be best if they did a little homework before they came to the U.S. And what I mean by that is do a little study. Get some maps, look at the maps, see where you might live in proximity to the campus.
Okay.
Some students come to school and then they try to find a place to live and it's really far away and they got to take a bus to another bus and a bus and
And that gets so confusing if you don't know it.
They get so lost and so confused and so disappointed. So finding out, where things are a little bit before you come. And then I think, doing a little further research on if you have a desire for a degree, think about what kind of work comes off of that degree. See if you can look into that a little bit before you come. It may change considerably as you're working on the degree.
Yeah.
But you have an idea of where it's going to go.
Do a little background check.
Some people start with a big idea. I just want to make a lot of money. I'm going to get a business degree. And I think, are you good with math? No, I hate math. Okay, then business is
It's not for you.
subject for you.
It's not for you.
Okay, so that's one thing that I think of. And let's see. Just trying to think what else. I'll have to think about that a little bit.
Okay, sure. And so, with all those challenges and everything, what do you think schools can do better to actually help students? Like, speak like DVC, for example. I know DVC does a lot already,
They do a
but
lot.
what do you think can be improved, into the academic system for international students, just to help them get that sense of belonging?
There's a lot of places you can get tutoring help, a lot of places you could get different kind of assistance, but it seems complicated. It would be nice if there would be a single starting point. International students go there, and they go to one place, and then
Everybody goes in there.
everybody would be siphoned off to work
Okay.
with different people, but their starting point is the same, rather than coming and not knowing where to start.
Yeah, I feel like that's true, because if I know that for DVC there's the welcome in, the day, the orientation, where everybody goes in and then they be talking and talking. But I feel like if they would do that more and then create a space where like all international students are in there, and then they go, okay, if you want to do this, this is where you find it. You want to do this is where you find it.
Right.
It's easier because like we're all the same, right? You from somewhere else, I'm from somewhere else. So that way we are able to communicate because we already have something in common. It's not like walking into like a building and then there's a bunch of American students. They came together from high school, or they've been together for a long time. They're already isolating you. Sometimes it's not intentional, but because they're friends, obviously it's gonna be them talking,
Right.
joking, and then you were there in your backpack, and you're like, where do I go?
Where do I go?
Exactly. Who do I ask?
And who should I talk to
Exactly.
about this? And
Who-
is it even appropriate to talk about
What,
this?
what do I say? How do I say hi? Do I say hello? Sometimes you say hi, but then you feel like you say it. Like for me, you feel like you said it, but then it's stuck in your mouth. So they don't hear it. So you'll be like, oh, maybe they ignore it. But no, you're not loud enough because it's in your head. You're like, oh, hi. So I don't know how it happens. I feel like just being an international student, when you knew it just...
It's hard to reach out, and that's one reason, as an instructor for me, I always reach out. I always want to reach out to them, talk to them, tell them they're not alone, give them my own little history so they feel better. I mean, there's so many people struggling. A lot of people also are looking for work.
Yeah.
And, there's restrictions with visas about
Yeah.
doing work outside of the campus. So they come and I meet them early on, and they have high hopes they're going to get a job.
And you're like,
And
no,
they're going to
it
get a
doesn't work
job
like
on
that.
campus. And I think, oh, okay, there are very few jobs on campus.
Very limited.
Very limited and very competitive for those few jobs for international students. So that whole idea of looking for a job is also really tough, because you got to have the funds to start.
Yeah.
And take advantage of everything. Take advantage of every scholarship, everything. Fill out every form. Try to get help in any way you can.
In any way possible. You never know where you might end
You
up.
never know. Did you know you were going to end up in this podcast?
Hell no.
Contrasted television?
No. Or
No.
you never know. You never know.
You started off very quiet. You were very unsure of your writing abilities. I remember you very well.
Oh yeah.
And you ended up showing this brilliancy in photography. You became our photographer for the magazine.
For the magazine, yeah, true.
And you've gone on into journalism, and look at you now. I mean, you never know where things are going to go.
You never know, indeed. That's true.
If you're afraid to start something, start it and see what happens. You may have not liked the photography. You may have never wanted to do this, but you wouldn't have known if you hadn't tried.
Just give it a shot. So.
I admire that in you a lot.
And I appreciate everything, especially because, you've been the fuel for everything. You've been like that extra push. I remember there was a time you're like, okay, we have to finish.
You're going to do this.
We have to finish the semester first, and then we can do the podcasting. But make sure you have to do it. You have to do it. I was like, okay. So,
Yes.
I mean, it's just that extra push from like instructors. Personally, I know it helps because I've experienced it, and we're still moving. And another thing that I also wanted to ask is, what do you think like American citizens or American students would understand more, or would at least try to understand about international students from how they interact with them?
Say that again a different way.
Okay, so we have American students, right? And we have international students. What's one thing you think that the American-born students would at least understand about international students in the day-to-day interaction?
Okay, so I can't help but put the role of the teacher in there because now I have a room of 30 people.
Yeah,
And half of them are from other countries and half are from the U.S.
exactly.
And some of them have been friends for years, and some are on a team together. Okay, who knows what actions they have together. I like to mix it up.
Okay.
Get people to work with each other that are different. So they get, first of all, it makes them work a little harder.
Yeah.
Okay? Got to work a little harder, and on both sides. And so it dispels the fear of somebody from another place. We live in a very troubled time for many people in the United States.
It's a very tough time, yeah.
The whole idea of ICE and what's happening with that, and I don't know
Yeah,
if you
like
want to go in that direction with this podcast, but that's made people very frightened about coming forward and reaching out to other people. They're afraid to let their own origins, their name, their history, their family be known because they don't know what could happen.
You don't know who you're talking to.
So that's right. And there's that fear that is, for me to see, for the first time I've ever seen this in America.
Okay.
Where there's this real fear of letting people know too much about you.
Yeah.
Students do work for me in journalism, and I ask them to do interviews, and I say, make sure to put the full name of the person and the date and information about them into the interview. That's what you should do.
That's how it should be done.
Right?
Exactly, yeah.
As I pounded you with again and again, so you know that.
Yeah.
And then they'll turn to me and say, but I can't really say the name of this person. They're afraid to give it because of something that may
They want to keep it discreet.
that may happen, and their family may be punished for it. Or a family member may suddenly be picked up and disappear.
Yeah.
And they don't know what's happening.
It's so terrifying.
It is absolutely terrifying.
Yeah,
So, there is a different element right now at work in the country that makes it, in some ways, a little harder for both the American students and the international students.
Yeah, so it's like a time of uncertainty for both.
It's a time of uncertainty and fear, and righteous fear. It's not there by accident. It's there because it's happening.
Yeah, that's true. But over and above your experience with international students and the way that you help, the cultural exchange in your classes, I know for a fact, like there's always going to be that exchange. I mean, if one person, I can recommend if somebody takes your class, like when you're done, you're going to be, I still talk to Ken, the photographer guy who I was with from the other class, like somehow do you think if instructors would try to, build those relationships between international students and American students, I don't know how they'll do it, but just try to make sure that you create that environment where these people kind of interact and actually get to socialize in a more general term.
You're really right, and sometimes it's just choosing subjects and topics that they're going to work on. That's why I have these brainstorm sessions. I have students come up with things that they're interested in, and then this one international student and this one American student may come up with the same topic. It's natural that they would work together.
Yeah.
So, putting people together by their actual interests is important, and sometimes teachers don't do that. And I don't mean to slam them because I'm not, but they may have a topic or an idea of something they want to cover, and they're just sticking with it, and they don't necessarily always listen to what the students really are interested in.
It doesn't happen every day, yeah.
And it's tough because now I'm teaching journalism and I'm teaching these media courses, and I'm fighting against AI.
Oh yeah.
Okay, which is something that's it's really something that I'm struggling with right now because it's becoming more advanced and harder to recognize. And, I see, to me, that is cheating when it is used to substitute for actual work that you're doing. You're just using AI to do this.
Just tell it to do this, it does it for you.
And then they're lost afterwards. They don't even know what they've done. So AI is a big stumbling block, and people are using it from around the world.
It's all over the place.
And it's